If you found this message, that means that somewhere within the labyrinth of your restless mind, a silent alarm has been triggered, a tremor in the foundations of your constructed reality. You've felt the phantom weight of expectations, the invisible chains of shoulds and musts that bind you to a life that feels increasingly borrowed, a life where the pursuit of validation is a ravenous beast, always demanding more, leaving you hollow and breathless. Imagine waking up one day and realizing that your entire existence, your very sense of self, has been meticulously crafted by the whispers of external approval. You've become a mirror, reflecting back the desires of others, a puppet dancing to the discordant tune of societal acclaim. And here's the paradox, the unsettling truth that claws at the edges of your sanity. The more you chase this elusive validation, the more it recedes. The tighter you grip, the more it slips through your fingers, leaving behind only the cold, hard residue of emptiness. You strain, you strive, you sacrifice. And for what? For a fleeting nod, a transient whisper of praise that dissolves into the ether, leaving you no more substantial than before. You've built your castle on sand, and the tides of external opinion are relentless. You've felt the knot in your stomach, the persistent anxiety that whispers doubts into your ear, telling you you're not enough. The constant comparison, the endless scrolling, the curated illusions of perfection that haunt your waking hours. You see the polished facades, the carefully constructed narratives, and you wonder, with a gnawing sense of dread, where your own authentic self has disappeared to. Lost in the echo chamber of projected desires, you've become a stranger in your own skin. But what if, just what if, the very act of caring about the opinions of others, caring about the relentless pursuit of external validation, caring about the illusion of control, is the very thing that's keeping you imprisoned? What if the key to unlocking true freedom lies not in relentless striving, but in a radical act of surrender? A surrender not to apathy, but to authenticity. A quiet, defiant refusal to dance to the tune of a world that demands conformity. You've sensed the underlying unease, the nagging suspicion that something is profoundly amiss. You've felt the suffocating weight of expectations, the constant pressure to conform, to fit into predefined boxes that stifle your individuality. You've asked yourself, in the quiet solitude of sleepless nights, why does it always feel like a performance, a carefully orchestrated play for an audience that never truly sees you? Why does every achievement feel like a temporary reprieve, followed by the relentless return of the gnawing emptiness? Is it possible that the relentless pursuit of external validation is a grand illusion, a mirage that keeps us trapped in a cycle of perpetual dissatisfaction? Is it possible that the very things we cling to for security, the approval of others, the illusion of control, the relentless pursuit of perfection, are the chains that bind us to a life of quiet desperation? And if so, how do we break free? How do we dismantle the carefully constructed edifice of our false selves and reclaim the authentic, untainted essence of who we truly are? How do we find a peace that doesn't rely on the fickle opinions of others? The answer, as you will soon discover, is both profoundly simple and terrifyingly complex. It lies in a philosophy that challenges the very foundations of our perceived reality. The path forward is not a gentle slope, but a precipice, a leap into the unknown. And you, having found this message, are now standing at its edge. The root of this pervasive unease, this constant striving, lies in a fundamental misunderstanding of our own nature, a deep-seated illusion that has been woven into the fabric of our existence. This illusion is the belief that our worth is contingent upon external validation, that our identity is defined by the opinions and judgments of others. It's a subtle, insidious force, a silent puppeteer pulling the strings of our desires and fears. We are taught, from the earliest stages of our lives, to seek approval, to conform to societal norms, to measure our success by the yardstick of external achievement. We become addicted to the fleeting highs of praise, the temporary relief from the gnawing fear of rejection. This deeply ingrained conditioning stems from a complex interplay of psychological and philosophical roots. From a psychological perspective, it's rooted in our innate need for belonging and social acceptance. We are social creatures, wired for connection, and the fear of ostracism is a primal instinct. This instinct, however, becomes distorted when we equate our worth with the approval of others, when we allow external validation to dictate our sense of self. It leads to a constant state of anxiety, a perpetual fear of falling short, of being judged and found wanting. And here, we encounter the profound wisdom of Michel de Montaigne, a 16th century philosopher who dared to challenge the prevailing orthodoxies of his time. Montaigne, in his groundbreaking essays, explored the depths of human nature with unflinching honesty, revealing the inherent contradictions and complexities of the human experience. He recognized the folly of chasing external validation, the futility of seeking happiness in the fleeting opinions of others. He understood that true contentment lies not in the approval of the world, but in the cultivation of an inner sanctuary, a space of self-acceptance and authenticity. Montaigne wrote extensively about the importance of self-examination and the realization that the self is the truest measure of a person's being. Montaigne's philosophy cuts through the illusions of societal conditioning, revealing the hidden trap that ensnares us. He understood that the pursuit of external validation is a self-defeating cycle, a never-ending quest for a moving target. The more we seek approval, the more we become dependent on it, the more we lose touch with our authentic selves. We become actors on a stage, performing for an audience that may or may not be watching, sacrificing our own desires and needs for the sake of a fleeting applause. This hidden force permeates every aspect of our lives, shaping our choices, our relationships, and our sense of identity. It dictates our career paths, our social interactions, and even our personal values. We become trapped in a web of expectations, constantly striving to meet the demands of a world that rarely offers genuine satisfaction. We chase the illusion of control, believing that if we can just achieve enough, acquire enough, impress enough, we will finally find peace. But the truth is, the more we chase, the further we stray from our true selves. The constant need to perform, to maintain a carefully crafted image, creates a profound sense of alienation. We become disconnected from our own emotions, our own desires, our own authentic selves. We live in a state of perpetual anxiety, constantly worried about what others think, constantly trying to anticipate their judgments. The weight of these expectations becomes unbearable, crushing our spirit and stifling our creativity. This hidden problem affects our relationships, turning them into transactional exchanges where we trade approval for validation. We become afraid to express our true selves, to reveal our vulnerabilities, for fear of rejection. We build walls around our hearts, isolating ourselves from genuine connection. The result is a life lived in shadows, a life where the true self is hidden and the facade is shown to the world. And within this hidden self is a yearning for the freedom, that is stolen by the need of validation. The understanding of the problem is the first step to the solution. The consequences of this unseen trap extend far beyond individual anxiety and dissatisfaction. They permeate the very fabric of our society, shaping our collective reality in profound and often detrimental ways. This relentless pursuit of external validation fuels a culture of comparison, where we constantly measure ourselves against the curated illusions of others. Social media, with its carefully constructed narratives and filtered realities, amplifies this tendency, creating a breeding ground for envy, insecurity, and a perpetual sense of inadequacy. This constant comparison triggers a cascade of cognitive biases, distorting our perception of reality and fueling a cycle of self-doubt. The availability heuristic, for example, leads us to overestimate the prevalence of success and happiness, as we are constantly bombarded with images of seemingly perfect lives. We fall prey to confirmation bias, seeking out information that confirms our existing beliefs about our own shortcomings, while ignoring evidence to the contrary. Neurologically, this constant striving for external approval activates the brain's reward system, creating a dopamine-driven addiction to validation. We become hooked on the fleeting highs of likes, comments, and praise, constantly seeking the next hit to alleviate the gnawing sense of emptiness. This addiction, however, comes at a steep price, eroding our intrinsic motivation and diminishing our capacity for genuine self-satisfaction. Culturally, this obsession with external validation perpetuates a cycle of conformity, stifling creativity and individuality. We become afraid to express our unique perspectives, to challenge the status quo, for fear of being ostracized. We prioritize fitting in over standing out, sacrificing our authenticity for the sake of social acceptance. This leads to a homogenized society where originality is suppressed and mediocrity reigns. The unseen consequences extend into our relationships, creating a climate of superficiality and transactional interactions. We become afraid to reveal our vulnerabilities, to express our true emotions, for fear of being judged and rejected. We build walls around our hearts, isolating ourselves from genuine connection and intimacy. Relationships become a stage where we perform carefully crafted roles, seeking to maintain an image of perfection. This constant performance creates a profound sense of alienation, a feeling of being disconnected from our own selves and from others. We live in a state of perpetual anxiety, constantly worried about what others think, constantly trying to anticipate their judgments. We become trapped in a cycle of self-doubt, questioning our own worth and value. The urgency to escape this unseen trap becomes increasingly apparent. The consequences are not merely personal, they are societal, cultural, and even existential. We are eroding our capacity for genuine happiness, stifling our creativity, and diminishing our ability to connect authentically with others. The world becomes a stage where performances are given and true selves are hidden. The fear of being unaccepted drives people to hide their true nature, creating a world of false perceptions. The weight of these false perceptions become a burden that is carried by many, creating a world of unseen suffering. The desire to break free is a primal scream that is often unheard. The understanding of the consequences creates the need for change. The path to liberation begins with a radical shift in perspective, a defiant refusal to accept the prevailing narrative. It's a rebellion against the tyranny of external validation, a conscious decision to reclaim ownership of our own worth and identity. This rebellion is not about apathy or indifference. It's about a profound act of self-love, a commitment to living authentically, regardless of the opinions of others. The first step is to dismantle the illusion of control. We must recognize that we cannot control the thoughts and judgments of others. Their opinions are a reflection of their own internal landscapes, their own biases and insecurities. To seek to control them is to chase a phantom, a futile endeavor that only leads to frustration and despair. Instead, we must focus on cultivating our own inner sanctuary, a space of self-acceptance and self-compassion. This requires a conscious effort to challenge our ingrained beliefs, to question the assumptions that have shaped our perceptions. We must learn to distinguish between our authentic desires and the desires that have been imposed upon us by societal conditioning. We must learn to listen to the quiet whispers of our own intuition, to trust our own inner compass. Montaigne's emphasis on self-examination becomes a powerful tool in this process. He advocated for a constant introspection, a willingness to confront our own contradictions and imperfections. By acknowledging our vulnerabilities, we liberate ourselves from the need to project an image of perfection. We embrace our humanity, with all its flaws and complexities. We must also learn to detach ourselves from the fleeting highs of external validation. This requires a conscious effort to shift our focus from external rewards to intrinsic satisfaction. We must find joy in the process of creation, in the pursuit of our passions, regardless of the outcome. We must learn to value our own opinions, our own judgments, above the fleeting applause of the crowd. Practical steps can be taken immediately. Begin by practicing mindful awareness, observing your thoughts and emotions without judgment. Notice the moments when you are seeking external validation, the times when you are performing for an audience. Question the underlying beliefs that drive these behaviors. Create a daily ritual of self-reflection, journaling your thoughts and feelings, exploring your values and desires. Spend time in solitude, reconnecting with your inner self, listening to the quiet whispers of your intuition. Cultivate self-compassion, treating yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer to a dear friend. Surround yourself with authentic individuals, those who value your true self, who support your journey of self-discovery. Distance yourself from toxic relationships, those that drain your energy and undermine your self-worth. Embrace vulnerability, allowing yourself to be seen, to be heard, to be truly known. Share your authentic self with those you trust, creating genuine connections based on honesty and vulnerability. Remember that this is a journey, not a destination. There will be moments of doubt, moments of fear, moments when the old patterns resurface. But with each act of defiance, with each step towards authenticity, you reclaim a piece of your soul. You rediscover the power that resides within you, the power to define your own worth, to create your own reality. The freedom that is found in this path is one that has been lost for many. It is the freedom to be truly oneself. The culmination of this journey, the ultimate truth that lies at the heart of Montaigne's philosophy, is a profound realization. Your worth is inherent, intrinsic, and immutable. It is not something to be earned, to be validated, or to be bestowed by others. It is a fundamental aspect of your being, a birthright that cannot be taken away. The act of stopping to care, in the way that we've been conditioned, is not an act of indifference, but an act of profound self-recognition. This realization redefines your relationship with reality. It dismantles the illusion of external control, freeing you from the relentless pursuit of validation. You no longer need to perform for an audience, to seek approval, to conform to societal expectations. You are free to be your authentic self, to express your unique perspectives, to pursue your passions without fear of judgment. The past struggles, the anxieties, the insecurities suddenly appear as shadows, fleeting illusions that held no real power. You recognize that the source of your suffering was not external, but internal, a self-imposed prison built on the foundation of borrowed values and projected desires. You see how the chase for external acceptance was a mirage, a cruel trick of the mind. You understand that true freedom lies not in the acquisition of external validation, but in the liberation from its grasp. It is the freedom to define your own worth, to create your own meaning, to live in accordance with your own values. It is the freedom to be authentically you, without apology, without reservation. This realization is not merely intellectual, it is visceral, experiential. It is a profound shift in consciousness, a transformation that permeates every aspect of your being. You feel a sense of lightness, a sense of liberation, a sense of profound peace. The weight of expectations, the burden of performance, dissolves into the ether, leaving behind only the quiet stillness of self-acceptance. You see the world with new eyes, recognizing the beauty and authenticity that resides in every human being. You appreciate the diversity of perspectives, the richness of individual experiences, without feeling the need to compare or compete. You understand that true connection is not based on conformity, but on vulnerability, on the willingness to share your authentic self. The world no longer appears as a stage, but as a canvas, a space for self-expression and creative exploration. You are free to paint your own masterpiece, to create a life that reflects your unique values and desires. You are no longer bound by the expectations of others, but guided by the compass of your own inner wisdom. The final truth is not a destination, but a state of being, a continuous process of self-discovery and self-acceptance. It is a journey of liberation, a rebellion against the tyranny of external validation. It is a return to your authentic self, a rediscovery of the inherent worth that resides within you. And in this return, in this quiet rebellion, you find not only freedom, but a profound and lasting peace. The peace of knowing that you are enough, just as you are. The peace of knowing that your worth is not contingent on the opinions of others, but rooted in the very essence of your being. The peace of finally truly being home.